Welcome back to another video on Maanav Sports Talk. We're me doing my NFL Divisional round predictions for all 4 games. This week is going to be so exciting. We got some really great Divisional round games. The Los Angeles Rams going to Lambeau Field to take on the number 1 seed in the NFC, the Green Bay Packers. This game will be on Saturday at 3:35 on Fox if you're looking to catch it. I think it's not one of the best games on the slate, but it's still going to be a pretty good game and a game that you definitely need to check out, especially for the Packers. The matchup is all about the Los Angeles Rams defense taking on the Green Bay Packers offense. That's the key matchup here. That's the one that's pretty much going to decide the game. But we're going to be jumping on to the other side first and talking about the Rams offense, as this is very important. It's not just about the Rams defense. Obviously, they have to be good. But the Rams offense is very important, and it looks like Jared Goff is going to be playing in this game for Sean McVay. And a bad stat for Rams fans is that Jared Goff in playing in games which are below freezing, which this game will be below freezing. It will be in the 20s in Lambeau Field. Jared Goff is 0-2 in his starts and has thrown 0 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions. So he's been pretty bad in these cold weather type games. And you know Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay are going to be really great in these cold weather games. They're used to that. It's not like these guys from LA, they're used to the sun and everything. They're not going to get that in Green Bay. So Jared Goff is going to have to get used to that. We'll see if he can put up a solid performance. He doesn't have to be amazing. He just has to be good enough. That's all we want. Pretty much he has to have no turnovers and has to be efficient with the football. They're going to have to rely on Cam Akers, their running back, who last week against Seattle, he had 130 yards rushing and a touchdown. That needs to happen again. It's not like the Green Bay Packers are great at stopping the opposing rushing offense. So look for Cam Akers to have a pretty good game, and he needs to have a good one if the Rams are going to win. And then Robert Woods. You got the 2 wide receivers for the Rams, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. I hope Cooper Kupp will be playing this game. He did have some sort of injury, but these 2 guys on the Rams offense, they're going to be facing a really tough Green Bay secondary. That's one of the best in the league. Can these 2 receivers generate enough separation? You got Jair Alexander and those guys back there. These guys need to generate separation and get some big plays for Jared Goff. There were a couple of big plays against Seattle. He'll need those kind of plays again. Maybe 1 or 2 strike plays. Jared Goff will need to find these 2 guys who will need to make some good routes and score a touchdown, I would think, at some point. Next up, the Rams defense. We all know about them. We all know about Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, by the way, he had an injury against Seattle. He looks good enough to play. Now, will he be as good as he is, the best defensive player in the league? Will he be at that level wreaking havoc on Aaron Rodgers? Can he do that in this game with this injury? We will have to see. For the Rams to win, he's going to have to put up a big performance. I don't think he'll be as disruptive as he normally is, but will still pose some sort of impact on the Green Bay offensive line, who are missing David Bakhtiari. I think Aaron Donald will have an impact in this game, but not as profound as he normally does. Jalen Ramsey versus Davante Adams, man. I cannot wait for that matchup. This is going to be a duel for the ages. Can Jalen Ramsey, arguably the best corner in the league, can he stop arguably the best wide receiver in the league, Davante Adams? That's going to be so fun to watch. It's equally matched. I think we're going to see a highly contested game between these 2 guys. And then Darius Williams, number 31. He is somebody that not a lot of people are paying attention to. He's a really good corner, and he had the pick 6 of Russell Wilson. He's probably going to be on Alan Lazard, one of these other guys that Green Bay has, MVS. He's going to play a major part. He might get on Davante at some point. But Darius Williams needs to get more attention. He's a really good corner. And Green Bay is going to have to deal with a really great defense. This might give Aaron Rodgers some headaches. But let's go to the Green Bay offense. We all know about the bad man himself, Aaron Rodgers, the MVP. He's going to have a tough game. This is a great defense, the best in the league. He's not going to have as great of a performance as he normally does. This is going to be really tough. It's the best passing defense in the league. Aaron Rodgers is going to have to work his magic at Lambeau to get this done. Aaron Jones, he's not going to have much room in this game. If Aaron Donald is not fully healthy, he might be in store for in a big game. And this is the wide receiver core. Devontae Adams, already mentioned him. And then Alan Lazard, I think, is going to be a key player in this game. We all know Jalen Ramsey is probably going to shadow Devontae. Now, the second wide receiver in this group is Alan Lazard. Aaron Rodgers trusts him. I think he's a good receiver. He might be in store for a big game. The Packers defense, we all know about them. Their secondary, I already mentioned. They're a great secondary, one of the best in the league. But can they get some pressure on Jared Goff? Can they get some tackle for losses in the backfield? That's going to be up to the Smith brothers, Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith. Can they get to Jared Goff? I think they can do it off the edge. If they can force some turnovers, that really help Green Bay, because offensively they're not going to put much up on the board. But overall, I think this is going to be a hard-fought game, very physical. It's going to be a little bit on the low-scoring side that I think will heat up at the end of the game. There'll be more scoring at the end. But I think the Packers are going to survive this game and move on in a tightly contested game that not many people are expecting. Rams 23, Green Bay 29. They kick a lot of field goals. They get just enough out of this offense. And offensively for the Rams, they're just not going to get enough out of it for them to win. I mean, Jared Goff, I don't know if he can do enough in this game. I think the Packers offense is really insane. I think Aaron Rodgers and company do just enough and squeak by the Rams. Next up, we got one of the best games of the divisional round. The Baltimore Ravens, coming off a huge playoff win, will be going to Buffalo to take on these powerful Buffalo Bills. This will be at Saturday night, 7:15 on NBC at Buffalo. Wow, I think this can be the best game. This is going to be so close. I mean, you can literally pick the Ravens, you could pick the Bills. It's almost 50-50. I mean, it's just so tightly contested. It was so hard for me to pick a winner for this game. I mean, it's going to be so interesting to watch. But we're going to be starting off with the Bills offense. So we all know about the Bills offense. Josh Allen, the MVP candidate. He had a pretty great game against Indianapolis, although a couple of late mistakes, but he got Buffalo's their first playoff win in 25 years. Stephon Diggs, another great game. Baltimore's going to have their hands full trying to guard arguably the best wide receiver in the game, Stephon Diggs. They're going to have a lot of trouble trying to handle this dude. Stephon, he's going to be so hard to cover. And honestly, I'm not too big of a fan of Marlon Humphrey or Marcus Peters. And I still think Stephon Diggs is going to be in store for a pretty solid game. Not as great as what he had against Indy, but another pretty solid number one wide receiver performance that Josh Allen can trust. But I think a key wide receiver in this game, considering the Baltimore secondary is pretty solid, is Gabriel Davis, the rookie in the 4th round. He has emerged as a go-to target for Josh Allen. He had some great toe drag swag, sideline catches. I talked about that. He might be a key individual in this game. Maybe against a lower corner in the Baltimore secondary, he might be able to wreak some havoc. You know, Stephon Diggs is going to be a major concern for the Ravens, and they probably are going to do something about it. But again, like I said, I still think Stephon's going to have a big game. Josh Allen, he's going to have to be careful. This Ravens secondary has a tendency to get interceptions. He needs to watch out for the pass rush and not turn the ball over. I think he might have an interception in this game. But I think Josh Allen overall is going to have another great game against another great team. And he's showing why he's one of the best young quarterbacks out there. He's going to do that in this game, pleasing the Bills Mafia. Now we're going to be talking about, I already talked about the Ravens secondary. Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, Jimmy Smith, Chuck Clark. You got these guys in the secondary. They weren't able to cover A.J. Brown at all. I don't think they'll be able to cover Stephon Diggs too. John Brown, he might be in store for a game for the Buffalo Bills. He didn't have any impact on the Colts game. He might have some impact. I think the Ravens secondary does a decent job against the Bills, but it's not going to be good enough. The only way the Ravens can win this game on the defensive end is if their corners play really well, which is possible, but they have to get pressure on Josh Allen, most notably the duo from Jacksonville being shipped to Baltimore. We all know about Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue. These two are part of the Baltimore pass rush off the edge. Can these two guys get to Josh Allen? Can these guys break the Bills' offensive line, who's pretty solid? We'll have to see. Personally, I don't think they're really going to have much of an impact. They haven't been too great this year. But I think the Ravens will stuff the run of Buffalo, but that's not really going to be a problem because Buffalo likes to pass the ball a lot. But they're going to have to try and contain Josh Allen in the pocket, which is a difficult task. But I think the Baltimore defense will come in with a game plan and execute it pretty well. I think you won't see Buffalo explode like they normally do. The Ravens will keep them in check. Now, the Baltimore offense is the key. Lamar Jackson is the key to this Lamborghini. Can he make it run? Because he's going to have to run and run. But an issue is that it might snow. Lamar has never played in snow. He admitted it. We'll see. But the thing is, he runs with the ball. He's pretty slippery as it is. He's going to be even more slippery in the snow. And he's going to be difficult to tackle, I think, in the open field. Unless he trips himself, which might happen. Who knows? But the Bills linebackers are really great. We all know about these two. The Matt Milano is really good. Tremaine Edmonds is pretty good. These two guys are going to have to contain Lamar Jackson, as the Bills don't really have any sort of pass rush. The Bills linebackers are going to have to contain Lamar, spy on him, and somehow bring him down. It's a tough task, especially if it starts to snow. But the thing is, the Bills secondary is good. Lamar won't be able to pass, but he doesn't need to. He'll run the ball a lot, and I think it's going to cause some problems for Buffalo. But I think Buffalo defensively, they step up, and I think they're able to contain Lamar well enough and limit them, and it might be just enough in this game. Lamar is going to have a decent performance, but he might throw an interception late. In this game, I have Buffalo 24, Baltimore 21 in a very tightly contested game that will go back and forth, but I think it's going to come down to a game-winning drive for Lamar, whether or not he can execute it, and I think Buffalo gets another stop on the defensive end to win this game. Now, the first game on Sunday is going to be the Cleveland Browns, after beating up the Pittsburgh Steelers, will be taking on and going to Kansas City to take on the defending Super Bowl champions Sunday at 2:05 on CBS at KC. This, I think, might be a pretty high-scoring game. It might be a fun game to watch. Some people are saying, well, KC is just going to roll over these guys. I don't think so. Hold up. KC, they haven't played in so long. They didn't play last week, obviously, and the week before, in week 17. They had a lot of rest. This might cause some rustiness, I think. You might see the Chiefs' offense come out flat in this game. And I think Cleveland, they got Kevin Stefanski back this week, their head coach. I think they might start off hot, continuing their streak from Pittsburgh. You might see Cleveland jump up like 14-0. That might surprise you a little bit, but I think that's what will happen. But then I think Kansas City will flip the switch and they'll go like on a 30-0 run or something like that. They're kind of like the Warriors, if you think about it. They like go on these really scary runs where they just take over a game. I think that's what the Chiefs are going to do in this game. But look, if the Browns are going to win this game, they got to rely on their running game. Kareem Hunt, this is a revenge game for him. He used to be a former Chief. He's playing against his old team. I'm sure there's some fuel in that for him. I think he's going to run hard and with a purpose this week. Look for him to have a solid game. And Nick Chubb, obviously the lead back for the Browns, he's going to have a big game. You're going to have to get first down, some big runs to tire out the Chiefs defense and keep my homeboy on the bench. These two are so important if the Browns are going to pull off this huge upset. And look, the Chiefs, they've done well in the postseason, stopping the run last year, Derrick Henry. I think this year the Chiefs are in store for a tough game against this run attack from Cleveland. Obviously, Baker Mayfield cannot turn the ball over. He has to score touchdowns. The Browns have to come into this game with a mindset of scoring touchdowns, because you cannot score field goals and beat the Chiefs with who they are. You have to score touchdowns. Baker Mayfield cannot throw any turnovers, has to be smart with the football, and needs to have some big plays on the offensive end to kind of keep the Chiefs offense at bay, and also to tire out the Chiefs defense. Myles Garrett, he has to be big. He has to have a wrecking ball type game. He has to completely wreck the Chiefs backfield, completely stop the run, and he has to get after Patrick Mahomes, bring him down a couple of times, and has to force maybe some sort of turnover or something for them to have any chance. The Browns defense are under tremendous pressure this week. They haven't been too good, but Mahomes always gives you one sort of chance, one glimmer. He always gives you a bad throw or a chance to recover fumble or something like that. You've got to capitalize on that chance. It might be only one time, but you got to make it happen. You got to intercept it. You got to catch it. You got to recover the fumble, whatever it may be. They have to pounce on that opportunity. It's just so hard to beat the Chiefs. I think the Browns will believe. They're such a great team. I really like their spirit. They'll believe. They'll come out firing on all cylinders. But then I think once the Chiefs turn it on, it's just going to be too hard. The Browns won't be able to stop Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill is going to be in store for a monster game. Same thing with Travis Kelce. I don't think the Chiefs are going to run the ball that much. They're going to rely on Patrick's arm, and he will dice up kind of a pretty weak Browns secondary and make some quick throws to speedy guys to avoid the pass rush. Chris Jones is going to be key for the Chiefs. He has to stop the Browns running game. I think the Chiefs will take control in the second half of the Browns running game and shut it down, forcing Baker Mayfield to throw and maybe getting some interceptions because the Chiefs back end is pretty decent. I have the Chiefs winning 35-28 in a high scoring game, and the Browns score a late touchdown, and the Chiefs move on to another AFC Championship game. Now the last matchup, which is so exciting. I can't wait for the best matchup, the most unique game that you have to tune into. Sunday, 5:40 on Fox at New Orleans. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to take on their fiercest rival, the New Orleans Saints, at home. Man, where to start? I'm just going to start with Tom Brady versus Drew Brees, the matchup of the oldest quarterbacks. Tom Brady 43, Drew Brees 41, something like that. They're so old. This is the matchup of the oldest quarterbacks in a playoff game, especially the divisional round. In a matchup of this magnitude, it's so rare, you're never going to see it again. Yeah, so history is being made between these two Hall of Fame quarterbacks. The picture that Tom Brady posted, I find it so hilarious. But these two future Hall of Famers, Tom Brady, arguably the GOAT. Can he show again why people say he's better than Drew Brees? Can he put Drew Brees in his shadow once again that he's always done for so long? Or can Drew Brees put up another great performance with a much better team than Tom Brady has? It's just going to be such a great game between these two veteran quarterbacks who are one of the greatest to ever play. Man, I just can't wait. Whichever quarterback plays the best in this game will win the game. It's not that hard to really figure out. But we're going to be starting off with one of the most important keys to the game, which is the Saints defense. Trey Hendrickson. He is the key. He is so important to the Saints defense. He leads the Saints in sacks. He's currently questionable. He's limited in practice. Hopefully he plays. The Saints need him. I think he will play because it's a must-win game. They really need Trey Hendrickson to perform. I think he's going to play. He's such a speedy pass rusher. I mean, it was difficult for even Mahomes to try and evade him. So imagine what Brady can do. Brady can't do anything. He's a snail. So Hendrickson can have a field day against the outside tackles of the Buccaneers. And then you also have Cam Jordan, who's on the other edge. So you got two elite edge rushers, and then Marcus Davenport and Sheldon Rankins, Malcolm Brown up the middle of this defense. They can stop the running game of Tampa, force them to go at Brady's arm, which won't be really a problem for Tampa. But they can shut down the run. They can pressure Brady with a four-man rush of Cam Jordan, Trey Hendrickson, Davenport, Rankins. They can pressure with four guys and send 7 people into coverage. It's different than Washington. Washington didn't have a great back end. The Saints have an elite back end as well. So this is going to be a major problem for Tom Brady. And I think this is the worst matchup for the Buccaneers possible. The Saints match up really well against what the Buccaneers do and against the Buccaneers players. You obviously know the Saints beat up the Bucs on Sunday night weeks ago, 38-3, and then opening day, they dominated that game. That was the first game, but the Saints have dominated this rivalry in these past 2 games. Can Tom Brady get it done in the third game? We'll have to see. Generally, the teams that win the matchup the first 2 times are 14-7 in the third matchup. So history favors the Saints here, and the Saints are the better team. The Saints are the favorites in this game as well. But I think the Saints pose a really tough challenge for Tom Brady because they can get to him with 4 guys, 4 elite pass rushers. They have an elite secondary as well. Now the Bucs wide receivers are going to have to play well Chris Godwin, he cannot afford to drop any more passes. Antonio Brown, to me, is the key, because if you look on the other side, Marshawn Lattimore, he's going to be all over Mike Evans. Marshawn has consistently draped Mike Evans over the past couple of years. Mike Evans is going to be in store for a really bad, tough game. So Tom Brady has to look for Antonio Brown, who's probably going to be going against Janoris Jackrabbit Jenkins. So Antonio Brown might be a very important key in this game, as well as Chris Godwin, who might be going against like PJ Williams or something like that. But again, the Saints back end, Malcolm Jenkins, he's really good, a really great safety. They've got an elite secondary, and Tom Brady has to rely on his weapons, and his weapons have to deliver. Now we're moving on to the other side. The Buccaneers defense, we all know what they present. A speedy linebacking core, Levante David, Devin White. I think they're going to stop Alvin Kamara. I don't think Alvin Kamara is going to have a great game. He'll have a solid game out of the backfield catching passes. Considering the Buccaneers have the best rush defense in the league, I don't think the Saints are going to rush the ball that much. They're going to give it to Alvin Kamara in the backfield passing. Jason Pierre-Paul, these guys are going to have to rush Drew Brees. They're going to have to get after Drew Brees. You know, the defensive coordinator for the Bucs, Todd Bowles, is going to come after Drew Brees. We know that. And Drew's got to be ready for it. Drew Brees has to throw the ball quickly out of his hands, get it out to his wide variety of playmakers. If Drew Brees gets sacked, it's going to be tough for the Saints, and the Saints defense is going to be on the field for a long time, and that's not good against Tom Brady. Drew Brees, the veteran, should be able to navigate through this. I think he can navigate the blitzes, and he can take advantage of the terrible back end of the Buccaneers defense. I think these two guys, Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, are going to be in store for a big game against the terrible Buccaneers secondary, especially Emmanuel Sanders as the wide receiver number 2. Drew Brees is going to look his way, and Michael Thomas, the number 1 wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers in the game, is going to have another big game. And I think the Buccaneers are just not good enough on the back end of their defense. This is going to be a high-scoring game, and the Saints are going to put up a lot of points in their home building. I think the Saints are going to win once again, 38-31 over the Buccaneers. A really high-scoring, fun game to watch, where Tom Brady and Drew Brees go back and forth. It's going to be a back-and-forth game. No team's going to really dominate, but I think the Saints pull away at the end with their defense getting to Brady. Brady is unable to find much passing lanes against the elite Saints defense. Okay, so here we are in the NFL playoff picture. Let's put in my results. Chiefs, Bills, Packers, Saints. Chiefs, Bills, I've been waiting for this matchup. If you watched my previous video, I do have the Chiefs winning this game. I think they outscore the Bills, and Mahomes just gets it done. Saints, Packers now. I think the Saints are going to get it done. They're a much better team than the Packers. Defensively, I think they'll give Aaron Rodgers fits. And the Packers are just unable to stop Alvin Kamara. And the Seahawks really disappointed me. They were my Super Bowl pick for the NFC. I had to stick with it, but now I got the Saints going to the Super Bowl. Chiefs, Saints, got the Chiefs winning. The Chiefs just show what they've done on the offensive end. Even the Saints cannot stop them. And the Chiefs do enough defensively, and the Chiefs are still your champions. If you made it to the end of the video, please go down, hit the like button, and hit the subscribe button, and enable notifications to get all your updates for the NFL. Be sure to be on the lookout for live streams for the divisional round, and I hope to see you in the next video.